United have everything. Energy, ideas, resilience, except a defense you'd trust for 90 minutes. Under Ruben Amorim, the football looks modern. The scoreboard still leaks. After 11 games and 18 conceded, the film keeps circling the same culprits. The first exit under pressure, the weak side on crosses, second ball spacing after routine clearances, and decision hygiene in the 50 to 65 window when tempo spikes and brains wobble. Tonight, we strip the problem down to habits and rebuild it with habits. Because this is less about signings than about repetition and roles. Start with the context. The table says 7th with 18 points, a 6-game unbeaten run, and stoppage time rescues that sweeten the mood. The tape says United have twice handed back road leads, Forest and Spurs, converting top 4 oxygen into stale air. Amorim calls it simply 2 games, 2 points lost. And he's right. Protect those advantages, and you're neck and neck with City. Instead, the group hits the international break feeling in between, identity emerging, outcomes lagging. The contradiction is structural. Up front, patterns are recognizable. Early service before blocks can set. Blindside runs that delete defender sightlines. And an organized second phase that keeps 2 technicians at the D, while the box floods in layers. At the back, the identity is accidental. Compact for 10 minutes. Then 1 soft touch becomes 3 emergency shuffles and a ball watching the net. The names rotate. The pattern doesn't. Dalit pinches too narrow on a bat post run. Dorgu gets into contact late and dribbles where clearance was the adult choice. Xerxes switches off on a corner. Casemiro steps without the line stepping with him. Yoro reads the trap a beat early. Delete reads it a beat late. Ugarte gets beat 1v1 and the chain snaps. This is not a talent deficit. It's a choreography problem. Let's read the film like coaches do. First phase fragility hides inside play out, good. But bravery is not forcing the middle to prove a point. Bravery is shaping the press and skipping it. When Bruno drops next to Casemiro, receives with closed hips, and invites the second presser, the return lane dies. One bad orientation turns into a counter threat the moment the first touch isn't clean. The fix is to move the spare earlier. Either Shaw steps into midfield to create a 3+1 with the 6 as a backstop, or you go 2+2, pair the pivot, and make the first pass wide by design. You're not abandoning football, you're choosing where it lives. Weak side discipline is next. The near post duel gets the replays. The far post run writes the scoreline. Wingbacks in this model must step high at times. That's not the crime. The crime is the opposite center back watching the ball fly while the runner drifts free. Codify the handoff. If the ball side wingback presses and the near center back engages, the 6 screens the cutback zone. The far center back owns the back end. Post runner and the far wingback guards the 6-yard space. The far 10 checks the penalty spot on the travel of the ball. No freelancing, no, I thought you had him. The assignment is a sentence, not a vibe. Second ball spacing after clearances is the quiet killer. United defend the first ball fine. The chaos arrives when clear step scatter replaces clear step collect. Look at the positive from the Tottenham draw. De Ligt's equalizer exists because the attack held 2 technicians at the D, attacked the 6 with purpose, and stayed ready for the recycle. Defensively, mirror that picture. Keep 2 midfielders outside the box to claim the first clearance. Assign 1 runner to attack the dropping ball rather than watching its path like a tourist. Second phases decide seasons. Treat them as design, not luck. Retreat and 90 seconds of panic. Casemiro understands this by muscle memory. The rest must learn zones. Foul wide on halfway. Avoid gifts in zone 14 and never foul with the back 4 ragged. Set the cover first, then clip the counter. Cards are expensive. Collapses cost more. The goalkeeper story is flattering and unnerving. Senna Lemons has already earned points. Near post saves at 54. Traffic stops 2 minutes later. Brave interventions with his feet. That's why you bought a keeper. But a keeper looking spectacular each weekend is either a Ballon d'Or peak or a structural tax. Make him the safety net, not the trampoline. Personnel versus structure isn't a false choice, it's both. De Ligt gives command in the air and guided aggression in the area. Yoro's stepping is mature beyond his years, but needs a louder partner. Shaw at wide CB brings security and a progressive left foot. Dalit's at the runner, not the ball. Dorgu's thrust energizes the flank, but needs a no-dribble zone inside his third. None of this screams buy 3 defenders. All of it screams shorten the menu. So here's the blueprint. 3 steps you can feel on the pitch. Step 1. Freeze the exits after halftime. United's sloppiest window is 46 through 65, especially away. Lower the block 5 meters. Pre-call 2 restart exits so nobody invents solutions under the mic. Short, long to the far wing back. Or short bounce slip into the posting forward. Make Bruno the second touch, not the first escape. If Mainu is fit, he owns first phase. If he isn't, Shaw steps in and Casemiro becomes the backstop 6, not the hunter. Step 2. Codify the weak side. Ball side, wing-back presses. Near CB engages. 6 protects cutback. Far side, CB owns the back post runner. Wing-back guards the 6-yard box. Far 10 lives at the penalty spot on the ball's travel. Call it in the dressing room, rehearse it at half pace. In training, live it at full noise on match day. When the ball flies, eyes find runners, not drama. Step 3, treat set pieces like open play. Attacking, United already have a framework. Near post decoy, 6-yard flood, 2 at the D for the recycle. That structure produced points. Defending, mirror the roles. 1 player owns the penalty spot clearance, 1 owns the back post body, the 6 tags the first runner instead of attacking the first ball. And then the principle that turns nerves into boredom. The same spacing after every first clearance, even if the first clearance is perfect. Now the captain. The Bruno question is defense by role, not blame. When he is asked to be first exit under pressure and final action in the box, the risk profile spikes. Protect him from overload, and you protect the line. Use him as an arriver, not a builder. Let Mainu or Mount in calm control games take the greasy touches. If Bruno receives 2 seconds later and 20 meters higher, you defend. With the ball instead of defending your own invention. His assist in stoppage time at Spurs doesn't absolve the 90 minutes of strain. It reminds you where his value lives. Individual corrections ripple. Dalit starts 2 yards narrower in settled phases, opens hits early on switches so the first step is toward the runner. Dorgu chooses contact before feet. Win the duel, then dribble. And bans self-carries in a self-defined red zone inside his third. De Ligt commits the line to a step. Half steps open doors. Casemiro chooses foul geography. Anchor the cutback instead of chasing the touchline lure. Yoro becomes louder. If he owns the far post runner, he says it before the cross leaves the foot. These are boring notes. The league pays for boring notes. Psychologically, United show personality. Late goals at Brighton and Spurs are not accidents. But personality without serenity becomes adrenaline football. The cure is repetition. The same exit from the same throw-in for a month. The same. Far post check on every cross. The same 2 men at the D, both ways, on every dead ball. No one sings about that. Everyone wins with that. Why this matters now is obvious. Champions League places aren't compatible with conceding at nearly 2 a game. Amorim's October surge Wins over Sunderland, Liverpool, Brighton came from violence of timing welded to a clear shape. November's draws expose the missing twin, detail. Detail is the quiet sibling of intensity. Add it and the late equalizers that protect belief become late winners that change tables. Translate this into a plan for the first game back. If Sesko can't go, start Xerxes to give the structure a post for wall passes. Run the no-striker automations inside that post so Ahmad and Mibumo's early service logic survives. Script Bruno's minutes with intention. Arrive to decide, not to firefight. The first 15 are about field position, not statements. Minute turnovers. The last 20 put 2 technicians at the D on every attack. Concede no unstaffed cutbacks and spend 2 tactical fouls in midfield with a maximum of 1 in zone 14. If the game state flips, the plan doesn't. Plans that bend with scorelines leak. Plans that scale with scorelines hold. Underneath all of this sits a quieter truth. United already look more modern. To look more ruthless, they must look simpler. Simplicity is the same picture on the far post every time the ball flies. Simplicity is the spare being created before the press arrives. Simplicity is Bruno touching the ball where danger pays you, not them. When the travel of the ball triggers the travel of your back line. When the second phase belongs to you by default, the body language changes. Panic becomes posture. Posture becomes points. So the close is practical. Keep the enthusiasm, strip the variability, and drill the decisions until the stadium can predict them. That's how you turn resilience into results. That's how a group that already knows how to suffer learns how to suffocate. And that's how those late equalizers that keep belief alive turn into late winners that bend a season in your direction.